In a jewelry store, a guy shows his girlfriend a ring and asks her if she likes it. The guy humbly tells the girl that he knows the ring is not much, but she doesn't even let him finish, and assures him that the look in his eyes says all about his feelings for her. The shopkeeper reminds the guy that the deposit for the ring is non-refundable, but he just smiles, determined to get the ring for her lady. Meanwhile, outside the store, two guys are in a car, waiting to start their robbery. They are waiting for the couple to leave before beginning their plan. The guy in the driver's seat, Richie, is impatient, complaining about how long the couple is taking to get out. The guy in the back seat, our main character Sammy, is getting annoyed at his rants, telling him that patience is key for their business, and 1 minute can change everything. Once the couple is out, Sammy instructs him to get the car ready. He gets out and wears a helmet. He is carrying a box in his hand, pretending to be a delivery guy. He knocks at the store's window and the shopkeeper tries to send him away, but he shows him the box. The robber knows people cannot resist boxes, so the shopkeeper opens the door for him. Immediately he points his gun to the poor guy and hints to lead him to their safe. The guy seems like he's been through this before as he wears this annoyed look on his face instead of being scared. He opens the safe and puts its contents in a bag. Once the job is done, Sammy starts his escape. He goes out and throws the bag in the car, waiting right outside while he runs in the other direction, throws his jacket and helmet in a dumpster, and casually heads for the bus station. He gets on the bus and sits beside a beautiful lady named Laura. He tries to get her attention, and she gives him a beautiful smile. He tries to ask her out for dinner, but she politely turns him down, saying she has to work. It turns out that Laura works at a restaurant called Vincent's as a waitress. Determined to pursue Laura, he asks what time she gets off work. She says 10 p.m. He ends up going to the restaurant pretending he loves it there, even though in reality, he hates it. He waits for her to end her shift. She sits with him and asks what he does. He tells her the lie that he is a diamond dealer. She expresses that he seems to like the finer things in life but wonders why he took the bus earlier. He lies again, saying his car is in the shop. Internally, he is torn apart at the thought of telling her lies about himself. They seem to be very attracted to each other and end up making out on the bus. In the next months, their affection progresses and he starts treating her to luxury. He takes her to fine dining restaurants and gives her all the fine things she deserves. One day, while on a picnic, enjoying their moment, Laura brings up her husband who she already told Sammy about. She doesn't seem to be feeling all right, remembering him. It turns out that she is a widow, as her husband passed away due to pancreatic cancer 9 years ago. He gets some photos from her purse and gives it to him. Sammy looks at the pictures, revealing that Laura has 2 daughters. She tells him that she doesn't want to waste anyone's time, but if her having daughters is going to be a problem for him, she will fully understand. She has enjoyed their wonderful time together, but is ready to let go if it means he cannot accept her being a single mom. He tells her that her daughters are beautiful and wants to know them. He gives her a kiss of reassurance and tells her he loves her. At least that part wasn't a lie. Sammy meets Laura's daughters, Rachel and Audrey. Rachel seems to dislike Sammy while Audrey is a very sweet girl. After dinner, the couple sits by the garden talking about the girl's reaction to meeting him. Sammy confesses that he thought they would fall in love with him at first sight, just like Laura did. Laura chuckles and tells him she thought he was a creep when she saw him on the bus. A year later, they get married. All of Laura's family showed up to celebrate this happy occasion with them, but Sammy couldn't stop thinking about his father who did not show up. He visits his dad, Harvey, the next day. He is at his office examining a diamond. He hands Sammy 2 envelopes containing money. One is for his job, and the other, he says, is his wedding gift. Sammy comments that showing up to the wedding would have been a good gift. His dad just answers that he shouldn't be so sure as he hasn't seen what's in the envelope yet. Sammy chuckles at this and thanks his dad. He congratulates his son and asks him how the daughters are. Sammy shares that Rachel hates him, like he is the one who took their dad away, while Audrey is a sweet girl. His dad advises him that the girls don't need him to be their friend, they need a father. Then, he hands Sammy a folder for a lead to another robbery, telling him to stake it out. He tells him to bring Richie with him, but Sammy complains as he hates Richie. Harvey promised him before that he is going to look out for him, and assures him that with just a few more jobs, he will be able to pay off Ira, a man he is in debt to. Sammy is hesitant and tells his dad he appreciates him, but he cannot stand lying to Laura and the girls anymore. His dad asks him if he wants some advice, and Sammy says no. But his dad says his advice anyway. He tells him to come clean and tell Laura everything if he wants that life with Laura, or else, continuing with his lies will bite him back one day, and everything he has been building in his relationship will come tumbling down. Ira is a loan shark. Sammy was a gambler in the past, and one day he lost huge amounts of money. Not only his money and his friends' money, but also Ira's money. Ira and his dad go way back, so as a favor, Ira lets him pay back in installments. That's when he got into the robbery business, and he became a professional at it. He meets with Richie, staking the pawn shop they will be robbing soon. He gets a call from Laura, reminding him about their dinner, and he promises he will be there. He orders Richie to keep an eye on their target. He walks inside their home and finds the girls. It turns out that they are having a teddy talk. It's their way of getting things off their chest by talking to the teddy bear. It also helps them with big family announcements, as no one can interrupt whoever holds the teddy bear. Laura is very nervous while speaking, and Rachel keeps interrupting her. She blurts out that she and Sammy have been talking, and since they are married now, she asks how they feel about Sammy being their father, meaning they are planning on. Sammy has adopted Rachel and Audrey officially. Rachel cannot believe this and walks out. Laura immediately runs after her. That night while in bed, they talk about what happened, and Laura expresses that maybe they should have waited until they moved in together before bringing up the adoption to the girls to ease them into it. Sammy understands that Rachel just misses her dad, and this is hard for her. Times are not always bad between Sammy and the girls. They also have moments of fun, and they start to feel more like a family. One day, he gifts Laura a beautiful red car and surprises her with it. Nothing felt better for him than seeing how happy Laura is. Even the girls are so excited about the new car, and they go to drive the car. After their joyride, Sammy is saying goodnight to the girls, even to Rachel, who seems to still not be warming up to him. The next day, Sammy and Richie continue their robbery plan. They are observing the pawn shop, and Sammy is telling Richie that he doesn't want any shooting in this operation of theirs. He doesn't trust Richie at all. The next second, he sees Laura passing by the street and immediately ducks so she doesn't see him. In panic, he tells Richie to start the car immediately, and they drive off. They go back to Harvey's shop, and he tells him he is not doing this job, as something in his gut is telling him not to do it, and that something seems off. He requests Harvey to give him something bigger so that he doesn't have to do this again. He doesn't want to lie to Laura anymore, and he doesn't want to tell her the truth either. The next second, he receives a call that is bound to change his life forever. The person on the other line tells him that there has been an accident, asking him to go to the hospital. Unfortunately, Laura passed away. She was hit by a drunk driver who she did not see coming. Sammy is so heartbroken that he can't even bring himself to say anything. But he is trying to stay strong for the girls, as they are the only ones he has left. He remembers Laura, how happy they were together, how happy she made him feel. That night, overwhelmed with grief and sadness, along with missing the love of his life, he cries himself to sleep. Audrey finds him still sleeping on the couch. He gets up and prepares breakfast for the girls. He also informs them that he is taking the day off from work, and they can do anything the girls want. His phone suddenly rings, but he chooses to ignore it. Rachel proposes going to the beach, as their mom loves the beach a lot, and Audrey volunteers to make the sandwiches for them. At the beach, after enjoying the water, the girls get back to the shore to eat the sandwiches made by Aubrey. Then, Sammy tells them they should be heading back. Upon arriving, a car tails them, and Sammy tells the girls to get in the house, explaining that it's someone from work. It turns out to be Ira. He offers Sammy his condolences and offers to help if there is anything he needs. He also advises him that he should find a spot to cry to let all his feelings out, and even tells him that showers are a great place for crying. Then, Ira brings up the call he ignored earlier, and Sammy tells him he was busy taking the girls out to get some fresh air. Ira tells him to take some time, and once he is ready, he tells him to get back to work. Then, he gives Sammy some money which he immediately refuses to get, but Ira insists, telling him to get the girls some pizza. He seems to be nice, but you just know that behind all the nice gestures, he will ask for something in return. Maybe not now, but soon. Sammy thanks him and gets out of the car, but before he can go, Ira tells him to stay reachable. Looks like ignoring one call did not sit well with him. He gets inside the house only to find the girls screaming at each other. He rushes to mediate and asks them what's going on. It turns out that Rachel has destroyed Teddy. She keeps shouting at Aubrey, telling her to stop acting like a little kid. He tries to coax Rachel, but she just shouts back at him, telling him that they are not his daughters, and he will never be their father. Sammy is taken aback. Rachel even tells him that he is the reason why their mother is dead before walking away. The next morning, the sound of the doorbell wakes Sammy up. It's a lady from Child Services who is telling him they need to take the girls away, as they can only stay with family. Since his adoption case is still being finalized, they are not allowed to stay with him. Sammy doesn't want to let the girls go, as he wants to take care of them. He thinks of something quickly and asks if having a family member stay with them would solve the issue. The lady stutters, which Sammy takes as yes, as technically it is okay. He tells the lady that he just needs to make a phone call. A guy Sammy called arrives and he introduces him as Rob Fenton, a relative of Laura. He explains the situation to Rob. He tells him that he just needs to stay for a couple of weeks, until the adoption papers go through. Although the social services lady interjects, saying it could take more than a couple of weeks. Aubrey steps into the kitchen and sees Rob. She says hi, and Rob comes to hug her. Rob agrees to stay in the house, but before the lady leaves, she tells the two that she will also be running a background check on Rob, and then she will just give Sammy a call for any update. Sammy asks Rob if he's clean and Rob says yes, although he has some allergies from sniffing. It looks like Rob has some past. Sammy calls Rachel, telling her her uncle is here, and she comes to say hi too. Sammy tells her that her uncle is going to stay with them for a while, which makes Rachel happy. All Sammy knows about Rob is that he really loves his sister. Rob is eating while the three of them watch him. He looks at Rachel and comments how she looks a lot like her mom. That night, Rob and the girls are talking about having a movie marathon, and the girls seem to like the idea, but Sammy interjects saying they have school tomorrow, which crushes their joy. Rob comments that they should have some more time to grieve. Even Audrey begs Sammy if they can just do the movie marathon and forget school tomorrow. Sammy promises they can do the movie marathon on the weekend instead, even frustrating the two more. To make up for it, he tries to fix up Teddy, although the girls still don't seem too pleased. The next morning, he drops them off at school and promises to pick them up later to have dinner. He gets a call from his dad telling him they need to talk about something big. He arrives at his shop and he gives Sammy a folder. It's a profile about a man named Omar Al-Saeed, their next big target. It turns out that this target has a painting worth $50 million, which they plan to steal. He tells him to stake out his property and find a way to get in. He takes it, thinking it could be the big job he is waiting for to finally leave the thief's life. Sammy asks how he told her mother about what he has been doing, but his dad confesses that she never told her. Instead, she found out herself, and that's why she left them. Sammy also asks if he ever thought of walking away from it all, and his dad tells him no, as robbing is all he ever knows to do. And now, this is all Sammy knows too. But this big gig is his chance to change his life. He drives off to stake out the property. It looks like a tight security place, and Sammy knows there are big risks to face in getting in there. He gets a call from the school. It looks like Rachel is in trouble. She vandalized and punctured all the school's basketball with a knife. The principal tells them that normally, she would have been expelled already, but considering Rachel has just gone through the tragic loss of her mom, and that Rachel has always been a good student, she will show some leniency. She tells Sammy that they will get a bill for the damages, and Rachel should stay home with Audrey. Sammy asks what Audrey has to do with this, and the principal expresses that they are hurting and they need to stay home to take it all in. He apologizes to the principal and thanks her for her consideration. On the way home, Sammy tries to talk to Rachel, but she doesn't care at all. At home, he pours himself a drink while calling out for Rob, but he gets no answer. He finds him by the pool. He finds out that Rob is high again. He tells him how important it is that he stays sober for the girls. He strictly tells him he cannot take any illegal substance in his house. That night, he bids goodnight and Rob approaches him, telling him all his substances are gone, and he is off it. They talk about how Laura always knew what to say to make Rob get off the addiction, and even when he always came back to using, she never stopped. They dedicate a toast for her, both men missing their beloved Laura. The next day, Sammy and Richie stake out the place again. Then, he goes to his dad as he realizes he needs a proper crew for this big gig. Harvey recommends a guy named David Dallas, who is a previous military. He will be the guy to take care of the security. Next is Ruby, a working girl who will serve as a decoy as she's Omar's favorite flavor. Now that his crew is complete, he just needs a babysitter. He goes back to the house and finds Rob checking if he is clean. He tells him that he has a job to do, and he needs him to take care of the girls while he is busy. Rob asks him if he really trusts leaving the girls to their degenerate uncle, and he immediately says no, making Rob laugh, but ends up agreeing to babysit the girls anyway. Sammy gets a call from his dad asking to meet him. They go to stake out the place some more, this time with the whole crew. His dad orders Richie and David to take more photos of the other side, leaving the two of them. He secretly tells Sammy that their cut for this gig is going to be $30 million, shocking Sammy. It is such a huge amount of money, ensuring he will be able to pay his debts in full and live a comfortable life even after leaving the job. His dad also confesses that after this job, he also plans to walk away already, making Sammy happy. This is the final job for them, the path to change their lives. Richie senses that something is not right, that the two of them are keeping something. Sammy arrives home and sees a frantic Audrey running towards him, telling him Rachel ran away. He assures her that he will find her sister. Unfortunately, the lady from social services comes in to visit the girls. They try to make up an excuse about Rachel saying she is in the shower. Luckily, the lady says she is just checking in and then leaves. Sammy has an idea where she might be and goes there. He indeed finds Rachel at a basketball court, playing by herself. He joins her and tries to get her to play with him, but she is not interested. Sammy shares how basketball saved his life when he was her age, as he hung out with really bad people, and playing was the only thing that kept him on track. Rachel opens up that the ball she is holding is her dad's, and they used to come to that very same court and would play for hours. It was their thing, and she would just talk about everything to her dad, and he would just listen to her. Sammy understands that she is hurting. He knows that he is not her favorite person, and that he will never be her dad, but he promises that he will never let her go through everything alone anymore, because he will be there for her. Rachel finally softens up to him and asks him to show him how to shoot. Then they hug each other. Sammy is able to finally tear down Rachel's walls and get through to her. It's game day for Sammy's big and final robbery job. He meets with his crew, talking about the final details of their plan. Sammy's dad makes it clear to David that there should be no guns involved in this one. They are about to finish their meeting when Richie brings up a question about the worth of the painting and his cut. He feels that 5% is too cheap, but Sammy tells him all he needs to do is be their driver and wait in the car for them once they are done. Richie asks David if he is fine with 5%, but the guy doesn't speak. Richie gets the clue that it's only him that's getting 5%. He gets up ready to go, but Sammy asks him if everything is good. Richie tells him everything is okay, but he is not convinced. This is making Sammy start to feel uncomfortable and nervous now. At home, Sammy is preparing to go. He goes down and sees the girls with their uncle. He tells them he just needs to do some stuff for work, but promises that once it's over, they will have a lot more time to spend together. Rob approaches him and assures him he's got the house under control. Sammy tells him he just wanted to say goodbye to the girls, to which Rob comments that the girls have already had enough goodbyes in their lives. He also thanks Sammy even though he doesn't know what for. Sammy just tells him to figure it out and tell him when he gets back. He tells the girls he loves them and takes off. They drive to the mansion and begin their operation. Harvey is staking from outside while Sammy and David start entering the property. The lights go off at the mansion, signaling they successfully entered. Harvey receives a call from Ruby, very casually telling him she's done with Omar as he couldn't seem to get aroused, and that he left 10 minutes ago. This is unbelievable. Ruby is acting like informing Harvey about it sooner is not important at all. Harvey is now panicking. He immediately calls Richie informing him Omar is arriving in about 5 minutes. Sammy successfully enters the mansion. Richie follows him to warn him about the development. Sammy finds the painting, but he also finds Omar's child on the couch, crying and scared for his life. Richie catches up to Sammy carrying a gun, and Sammy tries to tell him to put the gun away to not scare the kid. In a sudden twist of events, Richie points his gun at him while David also enters the scene. It turns out that the two of them have made their own deal. They tell Sammy that they will take the painting for themselves, and also take the kid hostage, trying to squeeze everything that they can off Omar. Sammy puts his hands up and tries to talk some sense into them, but they have made up their mind. Lucky for Sammy, Harvey arrives sneakily and sees what's happening. He shoots David. Richie sees him and shoots him, but Harvey is able to shoot Richie too. Sammy immediately gets the painting, and they start their escape. Omar has just arrived and sees his son crying frantically. He immediately goes inside and sees the two men on his floor. While driving, Harvey tells Sammy who the buyer of the painting is and his contact number. Sammy just finds out that his dad has been shot, and he tries to drive as fast as he can. Before he loses consciousness, Harvey tells his son that he loves him. The next scene takes us to the beach, where Sammy, the girls, and Rob are. He finally mustered up the courage to tell the truth, and that is what he is doing now. He tells the girls about everything he has done and who he was. The adoption papers also went through, and he can finally be their dad now, but he tells them it's only going to be final if they would want him to be their dad. Sammy might already be expecting to be turned down after just confessing to everything, but to his surprise, the girls accept him as their new dad. A moment of happiness rushes over Sammy as he goes to embrace them. He also introduces them to his dad, Harvey, who fortunately survived. Moments later, Sammy is standing by the shore, embracing the sea breeze. He loves Laura and is thankful she left him with 2 beautiful daughters. But at this time, he accepts that he has to let go already.